The time now is 5:30 on WKYT. We're tracking breaking news this morning out of Italy. Several people are dead after an earthquake that caused extensive damage. The latest on that just ahead.
Keeping you right up to the minute on that. Also on WKYT, a man has been taken to the hospital after an overnight crash. How his phone may have played a role in that crash. That's coming up.
And emergency crews in Cincinnati say they had 30 heroin overdoses in just one day. More on that ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Kentucky morning start right here on WKYT. Good morning. It's good to have you with us. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Andrea Walker. We always appreciate you starting your day with us. The time now is 5:31, and it's time for a check of your forecast.
It is. Steamy weather returns. Let's check in with Micah in our First Alert Weather Center.
Yes, that summer pattern back in place. The fall weather for the past 3 days have been fantastic. It was a nice little change of pace. But now we're back into summer. Defender radar network, nothing going on. A few showers just to the north of Kentucky, and they pretty much stay there today. 63 degrees right now in Mount Sterling, 67 coming in at Lexington. So it is much warmer this morning than the past couple of mornings, but it's still very nice outside. 87 by the afternoon. It's getting warmer and warmer each and every day. That's the focus of the forecast, is really the heat, not so much the rain chances, because the rain chances are minimal. Most of us stay dry now through the weekend, but I'm going to break that down for you. I'll show you your weekend forecast and show you these heat index values deep into the 90s. Here comes that humidity, that moisture. I'll have that coming up.
All right, we'll see you in just a bit. WKYT beginning with breaking news out of Italy this morning. Rescue efforts are underway in central Italy as we speak after a 6.2 earthquake. It happened overnight. It's destroyed dozens of buildings, sent people simply running from their homes.
Heartbreaking news. At least 10 people are reported dead, and the death toll is expected to rise. Tina Kraus has the latest.
Rescue teams pulled quake victims from the rubble as daybreak began to show the devastation in Amatrice. Frantic residents and emergency workers used buckets, bulldozers, even their hands to dig through the debris. The U.S. Geological Survey says the magnitude 6.2 earthquake struck at 3:30 in the morning while most Italians were asleep. Several aftershocks followed. The hardest hit towns and villages are in the mountains of central Italy, about 100 miles northeast of Rome. The mayor of one hard-hit town said a family of 4 was trapped under a collapsed building with no signs of life, while the mayor of Amatrice said, quote, "The town isn't here anymore." He made a plea for more help to clear the streets and rescue the injured. The office of Italy's prime minister tweeted out, "Heavy equipment is on the way." This family dog was pulled from a small space carved in one collapsed home. Rescuers are still digging, hoping to find survivors. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
We do have an update. About 21 people have died in that earthquake already. Devastating loss there. In 2009, a 6.3 magnitude earthquake struck in the same region, killing more than 300 people. New on WKYT this morning, a man has been taken to the hospital after an overnight crash in Scott County.
And the crash happened about midnight on Long Lick Pike north of Georgetown. And WKYT's Caitlin Sentner is live now with more on the crash. Caitlin?
Good morning, Bill. This morning, deputies are urging drivers to stay away from these things right here, their cell phones and any other distractions while driving after that man crashed in Scott County. Now, it was just after midnight. Crews were called to Long Lick Pike, where a man had veered off the road and crashed his truck. Deputies say his truck flipped probably 2 to 3 times before landing in a creek bed. It's not clear right now whether or not the man was ejected from the truck, but deputies say he was outside of it when they arrived. People living close by actually heard the crash and rushed to help the man. Crews worked to fish some of his personal items out of the creek. Now, deputies say this crash could have been a whole lot worse if other cars had been around at the time of the crash. The man is expected to be okay, and he's recovering here at UK Hospital. Live in Lexington, Caitlin Sentner, WKYT.
Caitlin, thank you very much. Emergency crews in Cincinnati say they responded to 30 heroin overdoses just yesterday, just in a matter of hours. Our Michelle Chamberlain is at our alert desk with more on that. Michelle?
Yeah, Bill, according to the CBS station in Cincinnati, WKRC, most of the overdoses were in the west side of the city. Now, one photographer at that station tweeted that he went to 8 overdoses in 4 locations in less than an hour. The station saying 3 people overdosed in one house. Another overdose happened at a gas station. That man had a child in the car. Police are trying to find the common link in the drug that is being circulated in that area. Now, you may remember earlier this month, 28 people overdosed in 4 hours in Huntington, West Virginia. And in our area, last month in Boyle County, 5 people died from heroin overdoses in a couple of weeks. In Franklin County, Sheriff Pat Melton told us there was a dozen overdoses in one day there. As far as yesterday's overdoses in Cincinnati, the police say they're not sure of the exact cause of the increase just yet. Now, you may remember our story on carfentanil, a drug used to sedate elephants, was being suspected in overdoses found in Cincinnati and here in central Kentucky. A big problem, Bill.
Well, obviously so, and that's a troubling scene there in Cincinnati from yesterday. Now to a developing story out of Louisville we're watching this morning. A woman and her young daughter are unaccounted for after a major house fire. Crews were called just before 12:30 this morning as the flames erupted inside the home in the Germantown neighborhood. The fire then spread to homes on both sides of that house. We're told that a woman, her 6-year-old daughter, and 2 dogs live at that home where the fire started. The second floor of that house reportedly collapsed. Only the dog has been found. Fire officials say everyone in the 2 neighboring houses was able to get out safely.
A Pulaski County man who's accused of breaking into a home just an hour after being released from jail says he did nothing wrong. Somerset police say after being released on bond, Jonathan Whitaker broke into a vacant home on Langdon Street. Police say they found him hiding in the attic, but he refused to come out. When Whitaker started falling through the ceiling, police say they pulled him to the ground. And from jail yesterday, Whitaker claimed he did nothing wrong.
I did not steal nothing, did not take nothing. So I don't know how they're getting me for burglary whenever I didn't take nothing.
Now, Whitaker admits the home doesn't belong to him, but he says he was just resting there. Somerset police said he did have some items from the home on him when they arrested him. Family members say the woman who lived at the home recently died. We have more details on the case against a man accused of raping 2 women over the last year and a half. We first told you about the case right here yesterday on WKYT this morning. Police say Jeffrey Cummins broke into a 78-year-old woman's home on Donnabrook Court Sunday morning. They say he raped her, then poured bleach on her to destroy the evidence. Last year, police say Cummins raped a 64-year-old woman after breaking into her home. In that case, police say it took about a year to track him down and get his DNA, and they say it took several more months for the state crime lab to match him to the case. Police issued a warrant in that case on Monday, a day after the Donnabrook Court crime. Cummins pled not guilty to multiple charges yesterday.
Well, police are trying to track down thieves who they suspect stole more than $30,000 worth of equipment from Fish and Wildlife. Police say on Sunday night the thieves broke into a service garage that the agency owns in Madison County. Later that night, police say they got a call from someone who saw 2 lawnmowers driving south on Muddy Creek Road. And then on Monday, investigators found the stolen ATV in some nearby woods.
We believe that that vehicle or that ATV was left with the anticipation of someone coming back and again removing it.
Police say there were no obvious signs of a forced entry at the building where the stolen equipment was kept. They're trying to figure out how the thieves got in. Police say they suspect the thieves could be a man and woman working together. The 2 may be driving a late 90s model white Ford Explorer.
5 police officers say they were denied service at a Taco Bell in Louisville. The Louisville police officers say when they went to Taco Bell on Preston Highway for their lunch break, but they say a man at the counter turned to other employees and said he wasn't taking their order, then walked away. The officers said another employee walked toward the register to take the orders. That's when they overheard a conversation between 2 other employees making the food.
One of those young men told the other employee, I want to mess with them, I want to mess with them. And then he followed that up by saying, I'm going to mess with them.
The police officers say they walked out of the restaurant at that point. In a statement, both Taco Bell and the Louisville franchise owner said they have apologized to Louisville police and the 5 officers. The franchise owner says police made it clear they didn't want any of the employees to be fired, but the owner plans to retrain the staff at this Taco Bell. In national news, doctors say a teenage boy in Florida should recover after being infected by a rare brain-eating amoeba, and they say it's rare for anyone to survive this. 16-year-old Sebastian De Leon was on vacation with his family when he caught a parasite. He's now the 4th person in U.S. known to survive the infection caused by the rare amoeba called Naegleria fowleri. The lives in warm freshwater lakes and rivers and kills 97% of its victims. Doctors say while a lot of people get exposed to the amoeba, few people actually get the infections. Doctors say you need to be infected, water has to go into the nose with enough force to get the amoeba to the brain.
Time now 5:40 on WKYT, and back here in the Commonwealth, a handout at the Kentucky State Fair in Louisville has some people talking. The Furqan Project has a booth at the fair, and its members are giving away copies of the Muslim Holy Book. They say they want to give people who have never read it a chance to learn about it. They say most people have been friendly to them and have even asked questions.
Most people are just here to get by as quickly as possible so they can see all this stuff, but if they get a chance to stop by, they usually say, like, thank you guys very much for coming and being here. We're really glad you're here.
Members of the group say they brought 5,000 copies of the Quran to the fair, and they expect all of those to be gone by the end of the week. Well, University of Kentucky students began their new school year today.
Some nervous excitement there, I'm
Right.
sure. Students have been moving back to campus over the last couple of weeks, and today they start classes. This evening, there will be a welcome back festival. All students are invited to enjoy free food from Raisin Cane's, Crank and Boom ice cream, and Insomnia cookies. That would get me there. The event is from 5 to 7 tonight behind the King Alumni House and Stucker Career Center at the corner of Rose and Euclid.
You know, they get their handouts, find out what they have to learn in those classes, and you know, I guess they can be kind of nerve-wracking. It's like looking at the back of the textbook, so I have to really know all of this.
Right. Well, I don't know if any of them are looking at their textbooks just yet. I know I wouldn't have been.
Crack that about midterm, huh?
Yeah, you know.
5:42 on WKYT. Let's check live drive traffic, see what's happening on your Wednesday morning. And there's the current travel map.
There we go. Here's a look at that traffic map. Lots of green on the screen, which is always a good sight to see. Things seem to be moving very, very nicely there.
Let's check the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government live drive cam this morning at Versailles Road and Alexandria Drive. And you see traffic is starting to pick up in the city. We have no reports of any problems or delays right now, or any major construction projects to tell you about. Really, they tried to get most of that done before school got underway. So
that's a good
we'll see.
idea.
It is. But there's still some things from time to time it'll be delaying things. We'll keep you up to the minute. And a lot more news coming up for you Wednesday on WKYT.
How did you spend your summer? Well, a 10-year-old boy from California spent his memorizing the Constitution. That story when we come back on WKYT this morning.
And you can see that dome of higher pressure off toward the east. That's kind of pushing on in some moisture out ahead of this front. This front heads toward us. When do we get the chance of thunderstorms? And I have that coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Looking across the area, I see no issues whatsoever. Things look pretty good early this morning. And it looks like as you're walking out the door, if you're one of those walkers, runners, like to do exercise early in the morning, it's a good start. But I will tell you this, you're going to be a little bummed out when you walk out the door early this morning because the past few mornings have been phenomenal. We've been in the mid to upper 50s. We're not there this morning. You can see across the roadways, pretty quiet, right? Go up 75 all the way to Florence, Covington, Cincinnati. No issues. Go down toward Corbin, London area. Williamsburg, all looks well down south across 75 and also the Hal Rogers Parkway. But look at these temperatures. We're sitting there in the mid to even some upper 60s. So it's about 7 to 10 degrees higher than the past couple of mornings. So it's just going to show you that here comes that warm air, not just for the afternoons, but that goes for the mornings too. Still a very nice morning though. High pressure system off toward the east coast. We have the front back toward the west. Here's what's going to happen. Around that high pressure system, you get clockwise flow, meaning look at your clock, see the way the hands are going, and that's the way the flow is around this high pressure system, which means we're going to be getting the winds coming in from the south and southeast. That'll pump in some more humid air and steamy temperatures. So just get ready for that, back into that summer pattern. The good news here is that most stay dry. Most of this activity stays to the north of us. It really doesn't bother us whatsoever the next several days. I will say this, there is a small chance of rain today through your weekend, each and every single day, but there's not a great chance of rain, all right? So just keep in mind, if you're trying to make some plans, stick to them. Do not cancel plans. Know that you could have a pop-up shower or thunderstorm by the afternoon, and that's about it. We head towards your Thursday, and you can see by the afternoon there's really not much going on. Temperatures roughly 90 degrees. Here comes some heat along the way. Not only that, but throw in that moisture too, and you're talking about that heat index value sitting there in the mid-90s. So that's going to take you through your weekend, guys. Like I said, each and every day has that rain chance, But just know this, they're very, very small, 20, 30%. And that's it. A lot of events going on. Pops at the Park got that going on there on Saturday. Looks pretty good there at Whitehall near Richmond.
Yeah.
And you will be the MC.
Yeah, they're going to have a Beatles theme, back to the 60s
That will
kind of
be a
deal.
blast. That's pretty cool right there. I like it.
Be fun. All right.
Pretty good.
Thank you, Micah. 5:48 is our time this morning.
Instead of playing video games, a 10-year-old boy in California spent his summer learning the law of the land.
He did. Nathan Bond recited the U.S. Constitution in a video that his mom posted over to the CNN iReport. He was dressed in a suit and tie with an American flag in the background, and Nathan passionately recites every word in a 25-minute long video. Don't worry, we won't show you the whole 25 minutes, but just listen for a second to this kid.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility.
All right. Andrew was getting in on that. His mom says he started back in April and he worked up to 4 hours a day to know the Constitution. Nathan says that he wants to be president someday, and it appears he is well on his way.
I do know the preamble. That's as far as I got.
Pretty good.
Fifth grade teacher, Miss Stratton, taught it to me in a song. That's why I can remember
that's great.
it. Yeah.
You know, it's still amazing to think that Thomas Jefferson took out the quill pen and started writing, you know.
I can see you doing that for some reason. Learning all the words to the Constitution.
Some of it, yeah. Right. You can always look it up, right?
There you go. That's what Google is for. Coming up, you'll get the stories making news at this hour.
We'll be checking traffic again. We'll see how things are moving along early on your Wednesday. Our top stories are on the way. Hey, it's great to have you with us. Waking up with WKYT this morning. Good morning. Time to rise and shine here on your Wednesday. Make the best of it. It's going to be a nice day. A little humidity. We can deal with that,
Yeah,
right?
we can deal with it. No big deal.
Time is 5:53 right now.
Let's take a look at some of the stories we're working on at this hour.
There's a lot going on in the world. We're following breaking news this morning out of Italy. At least 20 people are now confirmed dead after a 6.1 magnitude earthquake hit overnight in central Italy. That collapsed homes on top of residents while they were sleeping. Very sad scene there. We're continuing to bring you up-to-the-minute coverage from Italy throughout the morning.
A man has been taken to the hospital after an overnight crash in Scott County. Officers say the truck was headed north on Long Lake Pike about midnight when the driver looked down at his phone and veered off the road into a creek. The man was taken to UK hospital with a broken leg. Turning now to politics, Hillary Clinton's campaign is pushing back against a new AP report casting a shadow over her time at the State Department.
That report was published yesterday, and it claims more than half of the people outside of government that Clinton met during her tenure donated money to her family's fundraising foundation. Donald Trump seized on news of the evidence of what he calls the Democratic nominees' pay-to-play politics. More rain expected today in parts of Louisiana, already hit hard by devastating floods. President Obama toured affected areas for the first time yesterday, promising more help for thousands of people who have lost their homes. At least 13 deaths have been attributed to those historic floods.
We're coming up on 5:55 this morning. Thanks for being with us. Making today's health headlines, researchers at Michigan State University say a brain hormone could help fight breast cancer.
Scientists treated cancerous tumors they grew in a laboratory with the sleep-regulating hormone melatonin. They concluded the melatonin significantly decreased the number and size of breast cancer tumors when compared to a control group. Disease specialists have long suspected a link between sleep deprivation and breast cancer. The CDC says sepsis should be treated as a medical emergency. It is urging healthcare providers to prevent, recognize, and treat the infection quickly before it causes life-threatening illness or death. The CDC says 70% of sepsis patients became infected after recent contact with medical services.
And children who use standing desks in the classroom are more likely to be at a healthy weight compared to those who sit at traditional desks. Texas researchers followed nearly 200 third and fourth graders. They found those who stood for both years averaged a 3% decrease in their body mass index compared to those who sat. Those kids recorded about 2% increase. Maybe we should be standing up, huh?
Maybe so. Walking on a treadmill. We didn't have that option when I was in school. Did you, right?
No, that wasn't a thing.
No one on the floor. Okay. 5:56 our time right now.
Let's get a check this hour on today's traffic trouble spots with live drive traffic.
Here's our current travel times into Lexington. As you see, it's pretty normal. We have no reports of any big slowdowns. Just a little bit slower than usual out of Richmond. Traffic is picking up, and there's a little bit of fog here and there, so the average speed is backed off to about 48 miles an hour on I-75 for that portion. And right now,
let's get a look at Lexington Fayette Urban County government. The camera there. Everything looks to be very clear, which is always a nice way to wake up in the mornings. Clear roadways.
You got it. We'll be adding those school buses in the next few minutes, so it's getting busy. Everybody be cautious out there. It's been a good start to the school year, I think.
It has, and it's been a good start to the week as far as weather goes this week. It's going to be a little steamier today, but still nothing too bad to deal with. Micah?
Exactly right. Yeah, we're going to be a little bit warmer, like Andrea was talking about, but also add in that humidity. It's going to feel pretty sticky later on this afternoon, but it's not abnormally hot outside. That's the way it's going to go. Temperatures there in the 60s this morning. Looks pretty good. 87 by the afternoon, and mainly dry. If you're about to take off, have a great day. If not, stick with us. We have one more hour of WKYT News.